Hey Scrap Bosses, welcome to the first process video in the Creative Reconnection series. In this video, I'm going to be creating this really simple scrapbook layout as we explore simple scrapbooking style. I'm going to relay some of my own tips for simple scrapbooking. If you have any questions, make sure you post them down in the comment section below. Let's get started. So let's dig into simple scrapbook style. Now these are 3 photos. I in fact am going to make a 2-page 8.5 by 11 layout. These are photos of my little one who just recently received an Easy Bake Oven for Christmas from her aunt, and she had a blast making her strawberry red velvet cakes. They were surprisingly very tasty. If you have any experience with Easy Bake Ovens, and you know that the baking kits back in the day weren't all that great, at least in my opinion. So of course, you know, I had to scrapbook this experience for my little one, and she just looked so cute. She was so proud. So here I am starting with 2 pieces of Neenah Solar White cardstock. Now, because I'm creating a simple scrapbook layout and also creating a 2-page layout, I want some continuity across the pages. So I reached for some muted colors. Now, your simple scrapbook design doesn't necessarily need muted colors. You can use warm colors or dark colors in your scrapbook designs, your simple scrapbook design. Typically, what I'm going for when I'm creating a simple scrapbook design is a design that's really focused on my photos and my stories with simple and clean embellishing. Now, if you're someone who likes simple scrapbooking, you may not feel the need to overly embellish. Typically, adding just a few elements on a page will suffice for a lot of simple scrapbookers. Now, creating a simple scrapbook layout is a great option if you are new to scrapbooking, because what it does is it helps you get used to formatting and designing your layout without the pressure of having to overly embellish or put a lot of things on your scrapbook design. Also, if you're focused on the story more than the design, then simple scrapbooking is a great option for you. For those of you who do not have a large scrapbook stash, maybe you don't have a ton of scrapbooking supplies, then you might want to consider simple scrapbooking as a scrapbook design option, mainly because you don't need a whole lot in order to create a beautiful simple scrapbook page. You can create a stunning simple layout simply using the elements that you have on hand. Patterned paper goes a long way. Using your punches to create elements to embellish, using stickers that you have on hand and thinking of different ways that you can use your stickers. Of course, you don't need a whole bunch of them. You can just have different points of interest on your scrapbook, on your simple scrapbook page design that doesn't require a whole lot of effort, but still give the maximum impact in terms of design. So I'm showing you a few elements that I plan to use on my page. Now, everything that I use on this layout are from my stash, so there's nothing new. I have a couple of options here, but I didn't give myself too many options because, again, I'm trying to keep this simple and focus on the story. So I have some die cuts, I have some chipboard, different manufacturers, different designs I'm going to bring together in a cohesive simple scrapbook layout. First thing I want to do is on the left-hand side, so I want to create an anchor. And so to do that, I'm using a doily. I just grabbed that right off of my embellishment cart. To that, I'm going to add a 4x6 photo, and that is printed on the horizontal. The other 2 photos are printed on the vertical. I'm going to mount all of these photos against some white cardstock just to bring a little bit more contrast, or at least to make sure that the photos stand out on my layout. Now, again, you don't have to necessarily use muted colors on a scrapbook, on a simple scrapbook page. You can use whatever colors that you like. I think the idea here is that the focus is on the photos and the journaling, and then of course you're going to enhance that simple design with some embellishing. So there goes the other 2 photos, again 4x6. And so between both of these pages, the left-hand side and the right-hand layout, or the right side of the layout, I should say, I was able to use 3 4x6 photos. I know a lot of you have mentioned that you want to see more layouts where people are using 4x6 photos, both on the horizontal and the vertical, so this is a really good example of that. I added some foam tape to the back of one of those photos just to give a little bit of dimension. You can have dimension and texture on a simple scrapbook page. You don't need a whole lot, but you can definitely include those elements on your simple design. So I'm going to go ahead and pop up this photo so that's nice and present there. And I want to pop up that photo in particular because my daughter is holding her little finished cakes that she cut up for all of us to try. I'm going to do the same thing to the other photo that's going to go on the left-hand side of the page. Once I have my photos in place, then I'll be ready to sort of look at my layout, examine it, and decide what I want to do to embellish. Now, I'm focused a lot on robust storytelling in 2019. I'm going back to that. So there I have a journaling block. I just typed up on my computer, printed it out, trimmed it up. I'm going to create an anchor for that as well. To be honest, I'm not 100% happy the way that turned out, but it will do. I'm not going to be that picky. I grabbed a little butterfly die cut and a frame die cut. Those are from a couple of Maggie Holmes. Maybe it's from the same collection. I think that may be from the Willow Lane. I can't remember. Die cut collection. And I created an anchor using that frame and that little butterfly die cut. Now I'm going to go ahead and adhere my journaling there to the butterfly. Ideally, I would have wanted that butterfly on top, but I didn't leave enough white space with the journaling in order to have the butterfly mount on top of the journaling block. But that's okay. That's just minor details. It's not a big deal. Now I'm going to take a die cut, again from the Maggie Holmes collection, Willow Lane, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the left-hand side of the photo on the left page. And that's going to serve as another anchor, because here in a second I'm going to take this little chipboard cake stand that you see to the right-hand side of the screen, and I'm going to layer that over the doily and that die cut. I thought that was perfect. I want to say that's a Maggie Holmes collection as well, but I can't remember. I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive to that, as well as a piece of foam. Oh, ran out of adhesive. I had to go get some more. And because my photo is propped up with some fun foam, I need to also add a little bit of foam there to the bottom of that cake stand so that it is elevated to the same height of the photo. It doesn't fall into the page. And there we go. That's all set and ready to go. A little bit of dimension there on that side. I grabbed a label that says "So Much Fun." That's another chipboard piece from a Maggie Holmes chipboard collection. I'm going to put that right there on top of that little banner with the bunny. And typically, whenever I'm making a two-page spread, whatever I do to one side of the layout, I like to do on the other side, and that brings some continuity to the page. So I'm going to add another chipboard element. This time I'm going to put it on the right-hand side by the photo, and it's a little bit more on the photo than what I care for it to be, but that's okay. It'll work out. So I'm going to go ahead and layer that on the photo using some adhesive and some fun foam, not fun foam, but foam and dimensionals. So that's popped up as well. I'm going to add this little heart. That's a little chipboard heart from Felicity Jane. And then I have these cute little epoxy stickers. I just want to add just a tiny bit more embellishing, but not a whole lot. Again, the colors play very well, given that these are all from different manufacturers. Those little epoxy dots add just a little bit of interest and a little bit of whimsy without it being overwhelming here on my simple scrapbook layout. I'm going to add one to the bottom on top of the butterfly, and then I'm going to add some to the left-hand side cluster of that left photo. And so far so good. It looks really nice. It's still clean, it's still simple, but it's still representative of my scrapbook aesthetic, because you guys know that I like to layer. I like making clusters. So there's my 3 clusters there, my pattern paper. It's not overwhelming, and it's still a clean, simple design. I'm going to add this label that says "Happy Little Moments." Bring in a little bit of element of black. My daughter has black in her dress, and so it seemed appropriate to do that. So what I did on one side of the layout, I'm going to do on the other. So I grabbed another label, and it says "Best Day Ever." So I'm going to go ahead and position that underneath the chipboard label. Now it's time to work on the title. Typically I'll do the title first, but for this one I did the title last for some reason. Grab some Felicity Jane font stickers. That's a gold foiled chipboard font sticker. And then I also grabbed some thicker stickers. That's the black shimmery, not shimmery, I guess it's glitter foam font. And even though this is a simple layout, you can add those nice metallic and glittery elements to your layout. That's perfectly fine. I decided that I needed to add some dimension behind that butterfly there by my journaling, so I'm going to go ahead and do that just to give that a little bit more presence on the layout. And I think that's all I do. So there we go, a simple scrapbook design using very little elements, but it still has a lot of pop. So notice the continuity of the pattern papers, the 3 clusters of embellishments. I have my robust journaling. The focus is on the photos. It's the first thing you see when you look at this layout. It draws a lot of attention in. I think it brings the viewer into the layout and focused on the story. If this layout has inspired you to reconnect with your simple scrapbooking style, or if this is a style you want to explore, I recommend grabbing some supplies and giving it a try. And make sure you share what you create on the Victoria Marie Facebook group. The link is posted down below. And if you have any questions about simple scrapbooking, make sure you post your questions down in the comment section below. A huge shout out to the Victoria Marie Scrap Boss patrons. If you're interested in supporting Victoria Marie Designs, there's a link in the description box called Patreon. Click on that to learn more. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Victoria Marie YouTube channel. Make sure you click the bell indicator. That way you'll know every time I post a new video here on this channel.